Wasabi guys, welcome back to another Magic Market Watch video. This week it is a little bit odd. We have a lot of cards that are going up for reasons that I'm not quite aware of yet. So when I show you these, you may be in a similar position that I am in right now. And some of these aren't going up by your usual couple of dollars. I mean, some of these are going up by 10. And the first one we have is Gonti's Aether Heart. Which, by the way, if you don't know already, I get these charts from mtgstocks.com. Really helps me out with these Magic Market Watch videos. I actually got in contact with Arjen from MTG Stocks just to give them my observations when it comes to the market manipulation. I know not everybody has the same opinion on why a card is going up, but it is my belief that over the past summer, many cards have been manipulated and a lot of people have been cheated out of their money using the card optimizer on tcgplayer.com, which many of you know TCG Player is one of the largest marketplaces for Magic the Gathering cards. So if you're using that marketplace and you're using the card optimizer, you're using the direct feature, you may very well be a victim of a scam. Now this first card, Gonti's Aether Heart, I haven't seen any kind of indication that energy counters are returning. That being said, I do know that taking additional turns is pretty strong. This does exile itself after you take that extra turn though. So all things being considered, 6 mana colorless to potentially take an extra turn once because it does exile itself. Maybe you could find a way to copy the artifact and keep it out there. It is legendary. All I know is that taking additional turns is always strong. So getting above $5, getting close to 10, it's worth talking about for this mythic from Aether Revolt. We do have Wayward Swordtooth from Rivals of Ixalan. Anytime you can get additional land drops, that's going to be pretty strong. Now I will point out that a market price of 47 that you see there would indicate that someone is paying over $40 for this card. The average listing is still around 10, so again, market manipulation has been happening all summer. I would not be surprised if someone is actually selling something like this to themselves. People can still see the market value on TCG Player and then make up their own minds. This is what I'm talking about though. The average person is not spending $40 to $50 on a card like this, but we have sellers who want you to. We have sellers that will benefit tremendously from it because they've collected just a massive inventory of bulk rares and even cards like these that are above a bulk rare, and then they've decided to list them at some ridiculous premium. What I don't think I've brought up before is the reason that you're seeing lightly played, moderately played, heavily played even, in addition to a near mint card, is that the same seller will try to have different listings of the same card at the same price, hoping that when someone uses the card optimizer, that they will end up adding something that is really expensive to their cart. And because they have separate listings of the same card, they have a much better chance of scamming people. So I don't believe this is a market value card of around 40 to 50. We have Spirit of Resistance. Now this is actually going up through the listings. You're seeing something around $15. People are willing to spend around 10 for it. Fits in pretty well with a lot of 5-color strategies. If you control a permanent of each color, prevents all damage that would be dealt to you. So all you really need is a 5-color commander and you can prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. Meaning you don't have to block, you won't take damage, you won't take commander damage, any of that. Only 3 mana, it sits on the field. I don't think it's been reprinted before. That is a pretty good value. I would say I'm a bit surprised that it's just now going up. And then we have Edgewalker from Scourge. This originally went up around Zendikar Rising because we had a ton of Cleric tribal support back then, and a couple years later without a reprint still, it's going to put in a lot of work with Cleric decks. You get pretty decent cost reduction, and it's not your typical cost reduction where it's usually just generic mana. This reduces colored costs for your mana cost, which is even better because you don't have to set aside your best mana sources. And then we have Grafted Exoskeleton. Believe it or not, this still does not have a reprint. I feel kind of bad because I just made a video talking about Infect and why I think Infect may or may not still be worth hating in 2022. But it now just shot up to around $8, so apparently a lot of people are suddenly interested in the card after so long. If you have a blue and red deck where your commander is typically going to be dealing a lot of damage to your opponent, although maybe it's not combat damage, maybe it's just damage off of a trigger, Grafted Exoskeleton is a great option because that's also going to allow you to inflict your opponents with a bunch of poison counters and then maybe defeat them that way. It is 4 mana to play, it is 2 mana to equip, so it's not the most efficient equipment, but still it is one of the only cards that will give creatures that don't already have Infect. Now let's talk about some losers for the week. We have Bloodforged Battle Ax. The card has clearly been going down since its reprint in Double Masters 2022, which I think is appropriate. I don't think it's ever really had the identity in Commander. There was never really this one obvious strategy that took advantage of Bloodforged Battle Ax better than really anything else. So if you were able to manipulate it, you just got additional +2 power. But if you couldn't, I mean, it was still a pretty average equipment. Not exactly something that I would say deserved to be $20. We have Sereth the Viper's Fang from Innistrad Midnight Hunt. A very interesting green creature because it does provide your other creatures with Death Touch if they're tapped. So pretty much any creature that taps sideways to attack, you're giving them Death Touch. I really like that. The other creatures that didn't attack that are still untapped have Hexproof. So there was a lot to like here. I think this is one of those creatures from the set that is going to age pretty well, just because it is relevant for several different reasons. If you want to focus on Death Touch, it has its purpose. If you want to be more aggressive, it has its purpose. If you are Keywords Matters, it has its purpose. If you want to untap your creatures or your lands, it has its purpose. All for still under $5. I think this is probably the best value that you're going to see here in this video. And the last card for today, this was a quicker video, we have Captain Lannery Storm. We've seen a bit of a decline in the treasure token strategy, and unfortunately, Captain Lannery Storm has taken a hit. She's gone up quite a bit within the past year, where you could potentially benefit off of treasure tokens as a strategy instead of your typical play from exile. That being said, having to attack with her in order to get a treasure token maybe isn't the most efficient way to get a treasure token. We still only have so many ways of getting treasure tokens. Her going down again is not much of a surprise. We've seen her gone up and down before. I wouldn't be surprised if we see her reprinted in some kind of precon deck. That'll do it for the Market Watch for October 6th, 2022. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, if you have not, please do subscribe to the channel. Commander Void here signing off. I will see you all next time.